Okay, let's start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanathmirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, welcome everybody. Okay, so we're going to start with 7.8. रसोहम अप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशि सूर्ययोः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दखे पौरुषं नृषु. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. This verse explains how the Lord is all pervasive by his diverse material and spiritual energies. The Supreme Lord can be preliminarily perceived by his different energies, and in his way he is realized impersonally. So everything is Krishna's energy. Maya means not seeing Krishna. Not seeing Krishna's hand in anything is Maya. Because there is nothing which is not in Krishna's hand, because either it is material energy or it is spiritual energy. So everything is Krishna's energy. So there's nothing which doesn't belong to Krishna's energy. So whether good, bad, ugly, whatever we see is Krishna's energy. So whenever we see anything, we should first connect to Krishna, saying that, okay, this is also part of Krishna. But only seeing the energies without seeing Krishna behind it is impersonal. Realizing Krishna impersonally. Impersonally means without him, without realizing him as a person. Just thinking that energy is independent of the person, that is impersonal realization. Prabhupada very nicely explains the difference between how an impersonalist perceives and a personalist perceives in this purport. Okay, as the demigod is in the sun, is a person and is perceived by all his all-pervading energy, sunshine. So the Lord, although in his eternal abode, is perceived by his all-pervading diffusive energies. The taste of water is the active principle of water. This we all know, right? When we drink water, especially just not cold water or anything, just normal drinking water, the taste is so nice. The taste is Krishna. No one likes to drink seawater because the pure taste of water is mixed with salt. Attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste. And this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. The impersonalist perceives the presence of the Lord in water by its taste. And the personalist also glorifies the Lord for his kindly supplying tasty water to quench the thirst. So this is the difference. The impersonalist just sees okay, this taste is water is Krishna. But personalist says, okay, taste of water is Krishna, absolutely. But Krishna is so merciful, kindly also given us water to drink. So that is personal conception. That is a way of perceiving the Supreme. So in everything there is energy, and that everything is coming from Krishna, and that Krishna is giving it so mercifully. That is a way of perceiving the Supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. One who knows God knows that the impersonal conception and personal conception are simultaneously present in everything, and that there is no contradiction. So for those who are not fully aware of this, impersonal conception is basically, there are a class of transcendentalists called impersonalists. They want to only think that energy is supreme, and that Supreme doesn't have a form. But the personalists, they are of the opinion that it is person from whom the energy is coming, which is very logical to understand. So Prabhupada is saying there's no contradiction here, because energy is coming from energetic. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya established his sublime doctrine Achintya Bheda, Abheda Tattva, simultaneously oneness and difference. So Achintya Bheda, Abheda. Oneness means that impersonal. Krishna is impersonal, but Krishna is also personal. So this contradicting, whenever we make these kind of contradicting statements, that is Achintya Bheda Bheda. Krishna is in his abode, but Krishna is everywhere. So this is personal and impersonal. The light of the sun and the moon is also originally emanating from the Brahma Jyotir, which is the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. And Pranava, or the Omkara, transcendental sound. So this Om is made up of 3 alphabets: A, U, Ma. Transcendental sound in the beginning of every Vedic hymn addresses the Supreme Lord, because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord Krishna by his innumerable names. So we say Krishna, but impersonalists are very afraid of addressing Krishna by his name Krishna, because then he is a person. Then again, I have to accept personality. Enough of this person in this material world, all trouble creating persons. So I want only energy. So they prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound, Omkara. But they do not realize that Omkara is the sound representation of Krishna. So Omkara is the sound representation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere. And one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. See, so nice. Those who do not know Krishna are in illusion. And so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of him is bondage. So light of the sun and the moon also. So when you get up in the morning, there's sunlight. When you sleep, there's moonlight. Moonlight results in, gives taste and rasa to the vegetables. Without moon, we can't eat vegetables. Everything is coming from Krishna. Is so mercifully giving this, right, for our sustenance. Otherwise, without sun, just imagine, can we live? I mean, there are people who are in some parts of the world where absolutely there's no sun, or it is raining all the time. It's so depressing without the sun. And Lord is so merciful that He's given us the sun, moon, syllable Om, sound in ether. Sound in ether, otherwise how will sound travel? Sound cannot travel otherwise. And ability in man. So this is very important, right? Somebody thinks, oh, I am this, I am that, I have achieved this, I have achieved that. I have not achieved it. Krishna is the ability in man. So even there we can recognize, we can, perceive Krishna's presence and become Krishna conscious. So this is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means everything around us is coming from Krishna, is being given by Krishna mercifully. This is Krishna consciousness, right? And it's really easy if we have to just practice it. Initially, we are blind to this. We just look at everything, connecting it only to me. In course of time, we should start connecting everything to Krishna. Like I said, good, bad, ugly, everything is connected to Krishna, because everything originates from him. There can't be anything in this material world which is not there in Krishna. Okay? Any?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, here actually one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Here actually knows this actually like we have to understand, realized.
Yeah, knows means everywhere. Krishna in Prabhupada's books, knows means realized knowledge. Devotee means pure devotee.
Okay.
But of course, I mean, see, here, actually one who knows also is blessed. Because knowing means that we at least know, theoretically saying that, okay, I should get out of this material world. Even that knowledge itself is a blessing. Na? So in this context, you can say even knowing itself is also one is blessed, because he will make further progress.
That's why like when we have to understand like that.
Yeah, for example, something like, see, like when Krishna says, knowing me, knowing me, we can't know him, no? We can't know him without realizing him, which means that we cannot just remain on the platform of theoretical knowledge. So then we should understand that, okay, know here means actually realize. This no is that, okay, I mean, Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Krishna is, everything is coming from Krishna, we are all part and parcel of Krishna. Even this knowledge is a blessing, right? I mean, we can understand that even knowledge itself here is a great blessing, because that will take us on the path. But knowing Krishna means, then, it become very cheap. If you think just knowing Krishna means, okay, I've read about him, then Krishna becomes very cheap. Then achieving Krishna is very cheap. Then we should understand, oh, okay, no. Then this is not know. This here knows means realized. Prabhu? Yeah. 7.9. Punyo gandha prativyam cha tejaschasmi vibhavasu jivanam sarvabhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasvishu. I am the original fragrance of the earth. I am the heat in fire. I am the life of all that lives. I am the life, Krishna is saying, I am the life of all that lives. I am the penance of all ascetics. Life of all that lives. We are so attached to this life of ours. But this life is actually Krishna. So we should love Krishna, not our life. Because Krishna is actually our life. Interesting. Punya means that which is not decomposed. Punya is original. So Punya Gandha. Punya Gandha, original fragrance, which means that it is not mixed, it is not decomposed. Everything in the material world has a certain flavor or fragrance. And like fragrance in flower, on earth, in water, in fire, in air, etc. Especially this original fragrance of the earth, we'll know when it rains, and if there is mud somewhere near, you will get that fresh fragrance smell from earth. That is Krishna saying, that is me. The uncontaminated flavor, the original flavor which permeates everything is Krishna. Any smell actually is Krishna. Similarly, everything has a particular original taste, and this taste can be changed by mixture of chemicals. So everything original has some smell, and that is Krishna. Vibhavasu means fire. Without fire, we cannot run factories, we cannot cook, etc. And that fire is Krishna. The heat in the fire is Krishna. How can somebody, see, just look at Prabhupada's purport, right? I mean, wherever he gets an opportunity, he uses Krishna, making us more Krishna conscious. According to Vedic medicine, indigestion is due to low temperature in the belly, Vaishwanara. So even for digestion, fire is needed. In Krishna consciousness, we become aware that earth, water, fire, air, and every active principle, all chemicals, all material elements are due to Krishna. The duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere. And by the grace of Krishna, one can prolong it also. You should understand this. Ajamila's life was prolonged. So we can prolong our life also. Or we can diminish it by doing nonsense. We can diminish it also. So prana itself is Krishna. Jivanam. Life itself is Krishna. How can we think independent of Krishna? It's just ignorance if we think that this world is independent of Krishna, isn't it? Pretty much nothing. There's nothing which is not part of Krishna, which is not coming from Krishna. Okay.
Prabhuji, one doubt in the previous verse, in the purport.
Yeah.
They mentioned duration of man's life is also due to Krishna.
Yeah.
So when a person dies, the soul moves to take another body, right? So even that duration is also due to Krishna, or is there some verse or something mentioned clearly about how long a person or a soul will live from one body to another body? About this?
Yeah, so Garuda Purana talks about it. Basically, one time taken for transition, that depends. So, for example, if there is no suffering in hell required, then actually the body would have already been chosen. The next body, that is when the body is already chosen, will soul leave the current body. That means that he will enter the womb of another mother, and then 7 months he will regain his consciousness in pregnancy. 7th month of pregnancy, the child gets consciousness, external consciousness, and then he'll be born in 10th month. But if there is suffering, if he has to go to hell, then depends on the punishment. Then obviously there is no clear decision of how much time it will take, etc. But otherwise, generally, a soul, the next body is decided only then the current body, the jiva leaves the current body. So, and then it will enter the womb of the mother immediately.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah. 7.10. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejas tejasvinamaham. O son of Pratha, know that I am the original seed of all existences, intelligence of the intelligent, prowess of all powerful men. Bijam means seed. Krishna is the seed of everything. There are various living entities, movable and inert. Birds, beasts, men, and many other living creatures are moving living entities. Trees, plants are inert. They cannot move but only stand. Even every entity is contained within the scope of 84 lakh species. Some of them are moving, some of them are inert. In all cases, or the seed of their life is Krishna. Stated in Vedic literature, Brahman, or the Supreme Absolute Truth, is that from which everything is emanating. Krishna is Parabrahman, the Supreme Spirit. Brahman is impersonal and Parabrahman is personal. Impersonal Brahman is situated in the personal aspect. Meaning impersonal Brahman is coming from person, Krishna. Therefore, originally Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root. As the root of a tree maintains the whole tree, Krishna, being the original root of all things, maintains everything in this manifestation. This is also confirmed in Katha Upanishad, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. He is the prime eternal among all eternals. All the jivas are eternal, but he is the main, prime eternal. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities. And he alone is maintaining all life. One cannot do anything without intelligence, and Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So if we have some intelligence, then we cannot think, oh, I am so intelligent. No. My intelligence is also Krishna. So there's nothing which is not connected or coming from Krishna. 10.11. Palam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivachitam dharma virutto bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. I am strength of the strong, but strength of the strong for those who are devoid of passion and desire. So we should understand this. Mostly current, today's world, people are strong, but it is in the mode of passion and desire. So that strength is not Krishna. That is asuric. That is demoniac. But this is the strength of the strong, like kings who are protecting citizens from evil, like that, which is devoid of passion. Passion means, kama, like desire. Not like that, but this is for protecting the people, for upholding dharma. That strength is Krishna. And very importantly, Krishna also says, I am sex slave, which is not contrary to religious principles. What is contrary to religious principles is just engaging for sense gratification. That is contrary to religious principles. But not contrary means only for the sake of producing Krishna conscious children. That is Krishna. The strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for personal aggression. Similarly, sex life, according to religious principles, should be for the propagation of children, not otherwise. The responsibility of parents is then to make their offspring Krishna conscious. So it's not just like cats and dogs producing children. First is, that there is a process, karpadana samskara, no sense gratification, and I'm also just telling no contraceptives, because that is also actually illicit. So we have to, husband and wife have to come together only for the purpose of begetting children. Otherwise, previously there used to be no physical contact between husband and wife, and that is human life. Unlike today, which is become very cheap and I mean, yeah, lot of gross things being copied from the West. Yeah, very openly being affectionate to each other in public, and all this is nonsense. It is not approved at all in our culture, and it is just being copied blindly from West. And very soon, so many other, advanced things that they do, advanced as in worse sinful things that they do, will also come to India, because we generally blindly copy. And these things appeal to people because it's base tendency. It's like animal tendencies, right? And when animal tendencies are encouraged in the society, people generally are attracted to it. Like meat eating, intoxication, all this base animalistic tendencies. And when opportunity is given, people will take it up because it just gives them that, happiness in the mode of ignorance. So other, cheap things will come, those will also be adopted. And that is why, I mean, somehow India will just totter, you know, uh, with Western influence. So we have to become strong. We have to retain our culture, so many things that is there in India which we don't even understand, or we don't even don't recognize it. It's so valuable. 7.12. एचैव सात्विका भावा राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि नत्वा अहं तेषु ते मयि. Non-living things, yes, there is soul. Soul enters, not soul, Paramatma is there. Soul is there only in living entities. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. All the activities in the world are being conducted under the three modes of material nature. Although these three modes of nature are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is not subject to them. For instance, under the state laws, one may be punished, but the king, the lawmaker, is not subject to that law. Similarly, all the modes of material nature are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, but Krishna is not subject to material nature. Therefore, he is nirguna, which means that these gunas or modes, although issuing from him, do not affect him. But the Nirakarvadis, they say Krishna is nirguna, so he doesn't have any qualities at all. No, he doesn't have any material qualities. That is one of the special characteristics of Bhagwan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 7.13. त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैर्येभिः सर्वम् इदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम्. Deluded by the three modes, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Because we are in the hold of these three modes, we cannot understand Krishna. So if you have to understand Krishna, we have to raise above the three modes. The whole world is enchanted by the three modes of material nature. Those who are bewildered by these three modes cannot understand the transcendental nature, cannot understand that transcendental to this material nature is the Supreme Lord Krishna. Okay. Every living entity under the influence of material nature has a particular type of body and a particular type of psychological and biological activities accordingly. There are four classes of men functioning in the three material modes of nature: purely in goodness, brahmanas; purely in passion, kshatriyas; mixed passion and ignorance, vaishyas; completely in ignorance, shudras. And those who are less than that are animals, or animal life. However, these designations are not permanent. It can change, but although this life is temporary and we do not know what we are going to be in the next life, by the spell of this individual energy, we consider ourselves in terms of bodily conception. Prabhupada is saying, because this changes, so we don't have to take it very seriously, but we take it very seriously and we call ourselves American, Indian, Russian, Brahmana, Hindu, Muslim, etc. And if we become entangled with the modes of material nature, then we forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is very, very important. We are generally entangled with material nature, which means that we are always thinking material things. So the more we think about material things, the more we are entangled materially, and the less we will remember Krishna. We forget Krishna, who is behind these modes. Now, when we see anything material, first thing that has to come into our mind is Krishna is behind all this. So Lord Krishna says that the living entity is deluded. Deluded means bewildered by these three modes, do not understand that behind the material background is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They just look at the energy and say, okay, energy is all in all, but energy is coming from energetic who is in the background. There are many different kinds of living entities, human beings, demigods, animals, etc. And each and every one of them is under the influence of material nature. And all of them have forgotten the transcendent personality of Godhead. So see, interestingly, animals have also forgotten. Human beings have also forgotten. So what is the difference? Aren't we just simply glorified animals? That is what Shastra says. So dharmena hina pashubhina rana. Without dharma, a human being becomes an animal. Those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, and even those who are in the mode of goodness, cannot go beyond the impersonal Brahman conception. Goodness means they are stuck with impersonal Brahman. They can't go beyond that. They are bewildered before the Supreme Lord in his personal feature, which was all beauty, opulence, knowledge, strength, fame, and renunciation. They are bewildered. The Supreme Lord has a person, he has a form. We can't believe this. And even those who are in the mode of goodness cannot understand what hope is there for those in passion and ignorance. Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these modes of material nature. And those who are truly established in Krishna consciousness are actually liberated. Okay, any? Okay, Veera Prabhu, I'll answer that. Any questions from this?
By saying the modes, I asked that question, Prabhuji, because I was reading Gita and SP. So,
No, there can't be any contradiction.
Uh-huh.
Those in the mode of passion worship demons, okay. These demigods are worshipped mostly by those who are in the categories. Which demigods? These demigods means demigods also are of three types. Brahma, Shiva, Surya are worshipped by men in mode of passion. So here, okay, so you're saying passion worship demons and those in mode of ignorance worship, okay. Yeah, so this means that, when you're in the mode of passion, worship demons. Okay, so we are worship women in mode of passion.
Prabhuji, what I meant the contradiction is that in SP 1.2.26, in purport they have mentioned people who are in the mode of goodness, naturally they worship only Vishnu Tattvas, right? But in 17.4, men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. That's what they have mentioned in Gita. Gita verse 17.4. So that is where I feel like there is some connection, but I'm not able to understand clearly.
Yeah. 17.4, okay.
The key thing here is 17.4 is a verse, Gita verse. Yeah. The other thing, 1.2.1 is actually not a verse. It's a verse, but in the purport, it is explained in that way.
Yajante satvika devan yaksha rakshasmi rajasaha. Rajasaha, okay. Okay, let me try to figure this out. It's a good question.
Okay, Prabhuji. We can look into this later.
Yeah. Okay, where was I? Okay, this words, any questions, any other questions? I had not observed this while I have read this. It's saying mode of, okay. Somebody, I think. Okay. So when there's nothing else, then we can close, I think. What is this? Yeah, the Shaguna mind. This will be next time. Okay, so finish from 7.8 to 7.13. Okay, we will stop here. Any questions from anybody? Okay, we will close here. Anchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Samveta Gaura Bhakti Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.